The world descended into chaos. Darkness fell upon once vibrant cities, now reduced to rubble. The air, thick with smoke and the stench of death, carried the echoes of distant screams. Yet, even amidst this abyss of despair, the human spirit flickered. It refused to be extinguished. World War II, a conflict of unprecedented scale and brutality, tested the very limits of humanity. It revealed the depths of our capacity for destruction, but also illuminated the extraordinary resilience of the human spirit. The world watched in horror as the horrors of war unfolded. Families were torn apart, separated by borders and ideologies. Millions faced unimaginable suffering, their lives forever altered by the relentless machinery of conflict. Yet, even in the darkest of times, acts of courage and compassion shone through. Ordinary individuals rose to extraordinary heights, driven by an unwavering belief in the sanctity of human life and the hope for a better tomorrow. The seeds of conflict were sown long before the first shots were fired. The Treaty of Versailles, signed after the devastation of World War I, imposed harsh penalties on Germany. It fueled resentment and instability within the nation. Economic depression gripped the world, breeding desperation and extremism. In Germany, a charismatic leader, Adolf Hitler, rose to power, promising to restore his nation to its former glory. Across Europe, tensions simmered. Nationalist sentiments intensified, fueled by economic hardship and political opportunism. Alliances shifted, with nations forging pacts based on perceived self-interest and a shared fear of the unknown. The League of Nations, formed in the aftermath of World War I to prevent future conflicts, proved powerless to stem the tide of aggression. The stage was set for a global confrontation, a clash of ideologies that would forever alter the course of human history. The world held its breath. On September 1, 1939, Germany invaded Poland. This act of unprovoked aggression shattered the fragile peace. Great Britain and France, bound by treaty to defend Poland, declared war on Germany. World War II had begun. The German Blitzkrieg, a lightning war of rapid movement and overwhelming force, swept across Europe. Poland fell quickly, followed by Denmark, Norway, Belgium, the Netherlands, and France. The speed and ferocity of the German advance shocked the world. The Nazi war machine, fueled by a potent mix of military might and a twisted ideology, seemed unstoppable. Millions were displaced, their lives upended as the conflict spread like wildfire across the continent. The world watched in disbelief as the horrors of war returned with a vengeance. The conflict soon engulfed the globe. In June 1940, Italy, under the rule of Benito Mussolini, joined the Axis powers. Japan, seeking to expand its empire in Asia, launched a surprise attack on Pearl Harbor in December 1941, drawing the United States into the war. From the beaches of Normandy to the jungles of Southeast Asia, the battle raged on. On the Eastern Front, the Soviet Union bore the brunt of the Nazi war machine. The Battle of Stalingrad, a brutal, months-long siege, became a turning point in the war, marking the limits of German advance in the East. In the Pacific, island-hopping campaigns and naval battles raged as American forces fought to push back the Japanese. The war touched every corner of the globe, leaving a trail of devastation and loss in its wake. Section 5. The depths of despair. The human cost of the war was staggering. Millions perished, not only on the battlefields but also in the darkest chapters of human history. The Holocaust, the systematic extermination of Jews and other minorities by the Nazi regime, stands as a chilling reminder of the depths of human depravity. Concentration camps, places of unimaginable suffering, became symbols of Nazi brutality. Cities across Europe and Asia lay in ruins, bombed into oblivion by relentless air raids. Millions more faced starvation and disease as the war disrupted food supplies and shattered economies. Yet even amidst this abyss of suffering, the human spirit endured. Acts of courage and compassion provided glimmers of hope in the darkness. Ordinary individuals risked their lives to shelter refugees, resist oppression, and offer solace to those in need. Section 6. Turning the tide. The tide began to turn. The Allied victory in North Africa in 1943, followed by the invasion of Italy, weakened the Axis powers. On June 6, 1944, D-Day, Allied forces stormed the beaches of Normandy, France, in the largest amphibious invasion in history. This marked the beginning of the liberation of Western Europe. The Soviet Union, having weathered the storm of the German invasion, began to push back with renewed vigor. Slowly but surely, the Allies gained ground, liberating cities and towns from Nazi control. The war was far from over, but the momentum had shifted. The forces of freedom and democracy were on the march. Section 7. Victory's embrace. After years of bloodshed and sacrifice, victory was finally within reach. On May 8, 1945, Germany surrendered, marking the end of the war in Europe. The world erupted in celebration. The nightmare was over, but the joy was tinged with sorrow for the millions who had perished. In the Pacific, the war raged on for several more months. The dropping of atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki in August 1945 finally brought Japan to its knees. World War II, the deadliest conflict in human history, was over. The world had witnessed the horrors of total war, the consequences of unchecked aggression, and the resilience of the human spirit. As the dust settled, the task of rebuilding began. Section 8. Scars of War. The war left an indelible mark on the world. Millions lay dead, families shattered, and cities reduced to rubble. The scars of conflict ran deep, both physically and emotionally. The world grappled with the enormity of loss, and the daunting task of rebuilding shattered lives and nations. The Nuremberg trials, held in the aftermath of the war, brought Nazi leaders to justice for their crimes against humanity. The trials served as a stark reminder of the consequences of unchecked hatred and the importance of accountability. The war also reshaped the geopolitical landscape, leading to the emergence of the United States and the Soviet Union as superpowers. The Cold War, a decades-long ideological struggle between these two superpowers, cast a long shadow over the post-war world. But amidst the uncertainty and the challenges of rebuilding, there was also hope. The United Nations, formed in 1945, represented a collective commitment to prevent future conflicts and promote international cooperation. Section 9. A New Dawn. A new era dawned. With the horrors of war still fresh in their minds, nations around the world embarked on a path of recovery and reconstruction. The Marshall Plan, a massive aid program funded by the United States, helped to rebuild war-torn Europe. In Japan, occupied by American forces, a new constitution was drafted, paving the way for a democratic society. The world had learned a valuable, albeit painful, lesson about the costs of division and the importance of unity. The post-war years also witnessed the rise of social movements advocating for civil rights, decolonization, and equality. The horrors of World War II, particularly the Holocaust, served as a stark reminder of the dangers of intolerance and discrimination. The world, forever changed by the experiences of the war, began to grapple with the challenges of building a more just and peaceful future. Section 10. Lest we forget. World War II stands as a testament to both the destructive capacity and the enduring spirit of humanity. It was a conflict that tested the very limits of human endurance, revealing the depths of our capacity for both unimaginable cruelty and extraordinary compassion. As we remember this pivotal chapter in human history, we must never forget the sacrifices made, the lessons learned, and the importance of striving for a more peaceful and just world. We owe it to those who perished, to those who survived, and to future generations to honor their memory by working tirelessly to ensure that such horrors are never repeated. The stories of World War II, stories of courage, resilience, and compassion, serve as a beacon of hope, reminding us that even in the darkest of times, the human spirit can endure. Let us learn from the past, cherish the present, and work together to build a future free from the scourge of war.